What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Ultimate Spider-Man issue 12, and for you guys that are only just joining us, we are on a journey to review every single Ultimate Spider-Man comic, all the way from issue 1 all the way up to issue 133 and beyond. So yeah, it's going to take a while, but we're on issue 12 right now. And yeah, welcome to this journey, I suppose. So in the previous issue, we saw that Spider-Man was taking down the Kingpin once and for all, and it kind of left off with a cliffhanger of Electro joining in on the fight. So that's where the issue is going to pick up. So before I forget as well, I know a few of you guys are pointing out that Spider-Man's webs are green. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I never noticed it in the actual comic book because obviously I have every issue and I never noticed it then. So maybe it's something that they've messed up like on the Marvel website or something. I'm not entirely sure. But hopefully his webs will become like the actual white colour in the future. But as of right now, we're just going to have to put up with it. But yeah, so guys, I think that's it for everything that we need to get out of the way, so let's jump into this issue now. Alright, so just like usual, the comic picks up right after the previous issue. We're back in what seems to be Kingpin's, like, you know, basement type of security room, like just where the previous issue ended. And Electro's joined him along with Ox, Montana, and Fancy Dan. Everyone's going crazy. Spider-Man's flipping through all of the bullets, dodging everything, trying to stay ahead of everyone. And he's even saying, like, he's kind of upping himself, you know, like, you're better than these guys, you have more going for you. And he's trying to stay ahead of the game. And just as he says that, Ox manages to grab his foot and flip him around a bit. After the absolute beating that Spider-Man gets from Ox, Spider-Man eventually becomes knocked out as Ox and Electro and Fancy Dan and the rest of them try and figure out what they want to do with them. And they come to the conclusion of taking him to the Kingpin, but not without being a little bit electrified first. And that is when we discover that Spider-Man wasn't actually knocked out. He was just pretending to get the drop on the rest of these guys. And Spider-Man just takes out everyone. And that makes you realize that, was Spider-Man actually losing the fight? Or was he just pretending to lose to take them off guard? What do you guys think? Either way, Spider-Man takes everyone out. And the artwork is just amazing at this point. I mean, Mark Bagley drawing the action in these Ultimate Spider-Man comics is the best part about these comics. And as you can see, he's taking down Electro, and he's pretty much talking to Electro, and Spider-Man is trying to figure out where Electro got his powers from, and Electro isn't saying anything. He's saying that it's none of his business, but that's when Electro kind of crosses a line a little bit. He says that once he's done with Spider-Man, he's going to find out who he is, and then he's going to kill his family as well. And Spider-Man just kind of makes a bit of a joke out of it, and then absolutely obliterates Electro with water, and it is awesome. You get like all this awesome artwork of Electro exploding, because obviously electricity and water definitely do not go together, and I think this is the first time that Electro has actually encountered this weakness of his for the first time, because no one's actually had the thought of actually using water on him. So that's awesome to see Spider-Man taking Electro down, and it really shows that this is Spider-Man's first time ever beating like an actual villain, you know, like someone as big as the Kingpin. So this is actually really major for him. It's like he's won the lottery pretty much. Now, as we move throughout the comic, you can see that Ox is still knocked out on the floor, and I love this part where Spider-Man just kind of taps him on the forehead and tells him that he's got to go to the FBI or the cops or whatever and confess everything, and he agrees. Now, as Spider-Man is on his way out, he's kind of, this is like the final stretch, like the home run, and just as he's on his way out the door, Kingpin appears behind him and says, "Do you really think I'm going to let you go out of here alive?" And it is awesome. I mean, look how massive Kingpin is. He's huge. Like, his hands are like the size of my entire body. They're crazy. And now, guys, onto probably the best part of the comic. Spider-Man says that he's been waiting to tell Kingpin this forever. And he whips out this post-it note, like a bunch of, like, cards and stuff that he's written down. And it's just a bunch of Fat Man jokes and stuff, and you are so fat jokes. And it is absolutely brilliant, and that really puts Kingpin over the edge, and he literally tenses up and the buttons snap off his shirt, and he just launches towards Spider-Man as Spider-Man just stands there reading out these jokes to him. And it is just so awesome to see this, like a man such as Kingpin getting humiliated by Spider-Man, like some hero that isn't even that well known yet, just some kid to him. That is just awesome. And Spider-Man, again, you can see that his webs are green. I think that's just like a little bit of a fault with the comic. I don't actually think it's like that in the paper comic, but yeah, whatever. So Spider-Man webs his eyes and says that he's not actually there to fight him. He's there to do something much more than that. And when Kingpin breaks free, Spider-Man has already gone out the door, and that is when Kingpin knows that his empire is over. His life as he knows it, he's always on the run from now on. So then we go back over to Peter Parker in his room, and he's actually going through the discs, and he's deleting the disc that has him like being unmasked on it, of course, because if that disc got into the wrong hands, then his identity will be revealed. He's got to make sure that that doesn't end up in the collection that he's going to send to the Daily Bugle, and he actually sends all of these discs to Ben Urich. And of course, these discs hold the evidence that show Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, crushing that guy's head in the previous issue, and like he leaves him a note as well. Now it doesn't say from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm not entirely sure it's got to that point yet, but I do, if I remember correctly, I think that he starts leaving those notes later on in the comics. Now, as you can see, it's kind of like a really good ending. It's a really nice ending. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, has taken down the Kingpin, this massive crime boss, and now he's on the phone to Mary Jane, and he's made up his mind that he wants to tell her something. Now, I'm not going to ruin what he's going to tell her, but it could be about Spider-Man, it could be about the relationship, who knows. But as you can see, he invites her over to come over tomorrow, and that is what we're going to see in the next issue, Ultimate Spider-Man issue 13. Now we get like this little epilogue to Kingpin at the very end here, and it's him in a different country. He basically can't go back to New York City for a while now. He's out of the comics for ages now, like I think like maybe 20 or 30 issues is out of this, so we're not going to see Kingpin until like issue 40 or 30, something like that. But either way, it is so awesome when he comes back, and you'll find out why once we get there. But that is the end of the issue, guys. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. What was your favourite part about this comic? Don't forget to let me know in the comment section below. Go to the links in the description to follow me on Twitter and Facebook for comic book updates, and of course to get updates when I'm editing videos, etc. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. I try not to give these issues 10s out of 10s. I've given so many now, but I really can't help it. These are just my favourite comics of all time, so yeah, bear with me about that. But yeah, guys, hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in my next video.